So without further ado, let me introduce Stacey Hall.
Thank you. Better than I could have written. Hi, everyone. It is a joy to be back here at Unity Center in the Valley. And I'm just going to ask you all to take a moment and think about something that you have been choosing between. Could be whether to go out for lunch or stay in today. Could be, do I stay at my job or do I venture out with a new opportunity? Do I spend this money on this or do I save it just in case, right? At any given time, we all have choices to make. And I'm just going to do a shout out to the folks who are watching at home or wherever you are on the live stream. It's great to have you with us, and I'm asking you to do the same. Think about some choices that you've been contemplating. See, whenever I used to have a choice, I did not trust myself to make the correct choice. That's why I needed friends, because I had to have people to go to say, what should I do? Maybe some of you have friends like that, right? That come to you consistently and constantly asking what you should do or they should do and asking for your opinion. I see, Jim, you're nodding. You know a few people like that, right? So I'm not here talking with all of you because you all are confident decision makers. You know to choose towards your prosperity. Jim's shaking his head now. No? All right, well, I was going to say for your friends who are the ones who come to you, this is what we're going to do today is we're going to practice using a technique that came to me when the most great inspirations come to me, usually when I am brushing my teeth. Okay, it is absolutely the truth. Anything that I have ever spoken about, it was an inspiration that came to me while I was brushing my teeth. That's when God chooses to talk to me. You know, I'll sit, I'll meditate, I'll pray, it's quiet. I go start brushing my teeth. Sure enough, here comes inspiration and information. And this particular day, I was needing to choose whether to go to a meeting or not. Some of you can probably tell I've got a congestion going on. That happens quite a bit with me. I've got allergies. I'm probably one of the few people that came to the Las Vegas Valley and got allergies rather than getting away from their allergies. And I wasn't feeling so great one day. And yet there was a meeting that I wanted to go to. And I was going back and forth. Do I go? Don't I go? Do I take care of my health? Blah, 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 blah. And as I was brushing my teeth, contemplating it, this little thought popped into my head. And it was, there's only two choices. And you might say, go or don't go, but that's not what came to me. Choice comes from love or choice comes from fear. Those are the only two choices that we ever have, right? I went, that makes things kind of simple. Let's play with this. And as it turned out, there were actually 4 choices from that space as I started to ask myself the question, because I said, okay, coming from fear, why would I not go to the meeting? And what I came up with was looking ridiculous because I'm blowing my nose all the time. That would be a reason not to go to the meeting. And maybe if I went, maybe it's not an allergy, maybe it's something else, and I might give people something or I might get sicker. That was one choice. And then I said, okay, but if I didn't go to the meeting from love, what would those reasons be? Love would be love for myself to take care of myself, love for them to not get them sick. Okay. And then I went, but what if I did go? And that's where the other 2 questions came from. So coming from fear, why would I go? And it was the fear of missing out, right? There was some information there that I wanted to have. So yes. Coming from fear, I would get myself there to not miss out. And coming from love, why would I go? Well, pretty much for the same reason, because if there was information that I could use down the road, so it was kind of the same reason, from love and fear. And so there I was. That's great. I'm right back in the middle between love and fear. And then I got the inspiration, but which one felt better? Which one felt strongest in my body. And what it was the inspiration to go, to take care of myself, go and have joy. And so that's what I chose. I started playing with this experience, the love versus fear, and I noticed that I could use it for everything. And so that's what I would like you all to take a moment to do now. We're going to have a moment of silence. Think about whatever the choice is that you've been contemplating. Chicken or fish for dinner, right? Work out or stay on the computer and finish a project. Spend the money, don't spend the money. This is your time, and I'm going to invite you to keep your arms open, legs uncrossed, let the energy flow through, and take yourself through the process. In fact, I'm going to guide you through the process. Everybody ready? If you're ready, say yes. 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 All right. At home? Yes. Coming from fear, and I'm going to invite you to close your eyes so that you're really just with yourself, because you might interpret anything on my face and that might throw you off. So just for yourself. Coming from fear, why would you choose not to do what you're considering? Coming from love, why would you choose not to do what you're considering? Coming from fear, why would you choose to do what you're considering? Coming from love, why would you choose to do what you're considering? Now review all the answers that you gave to yourself. Which one felt the strongest in your body? Do you choose to do that one? And when you're ready, come on back and let's explore. Did anyone feel that their answer coming from fear was the strongest? And it's okay. I want you to know in this exercise, it's not about always choosing love. Did anybody have? You did. Wonderful. The fear, is it a legitimate fear? Would you say that it's a reasonable fear?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. See, people talk to us about just get over your fear. Well, there's reasonable fears, and then maybe there's unreasonable fears. Getting over a reasonable fear is ludicrous. We have to address the reasonable fear. So if you're not prepared to address the reasonable fear, or there's time that's going to be required, what's your name?
Loretta.
Loretta, nice to see you. Okay, and without putting you on the spot about what the question is, is it all right? Do you want to tell us what it is?
To let go of a relationship.
To let go of a relationship. Okay, do I let it go or do I keep it? Beautiful. And the fear is coming from what? If you were fear of staying or fear of going?
I think it's more of fear of loss of love.
Of what that's going to feel like?
And fear of that I didn't do enough.
Okay, so fear of what is it going to feel like to not have that love anymore? And fear, you would stay out of the fear that you haven't tried or done enough in the relationship. Is that correct?
And the next part of that phase is that I don't think I can do anymore.
Okay, and then there's out of love for yourself, you would go because there probably isn't anything more you could do. So of all those answers, which one was the strongest?
Because of the fear, I had to go to self.
Okay, so coming from fear, you would choose to leave? Or you would choose to stay?
No, I think I went to the love to leave.
The love to leave. That's so you've just realized that's now the strongest. See, fear may come up. So now that, thank you so much. That was about as authentic and heart-wrenching as any choice could ever be, to stay or to leave a relationship. So thank you for the courage to share that with us. And I'm just going to say, is there anyone else now who's looking at this perhaps a little differently, that the fear actually is the strongest? No, you're all good. Well, what I would like to share with you is, especially here at Unity Center in the Valley, there's a focus right now on prosperity, right? Attracting, owning, deserving our prosperity. And being able to make these decisions with certainty and peace and to move forward moves us forward towards our prosperity. Would you say that's true? Yes or yes? Yes, absolutely. So is there anyone who feels like they got stuck a little bit in the process? I often have people who will tell me that they're not sure what was the answer, or two came up at exactly the same time. Yes, Deborah? Yeah? Would you care to share with us? Not what the choice is. But what are you stuck between? Fear of doing it, love of doing it, fear of not doing it, love of not doing it. Fear of? Doing it. Fear of doing it. And you said stuck between that and what?
Just the choice. Making the choices.
Okay, so did you receive answers from yourself when you went through the questions?
Yeah, I have to think about that.
Okay, so you're not ready to go with the choice that came up.
That's correct.
That's okay. Wonderful. No, that's exactly where, because this is, we know, right? We all know about kinesiology, muscle testing. Our bodies know things immediately. Would you all agree with that? I knew what the answers were. I wanted someone to go and tell me I didn't have to do that. It's like, what should I do? I was looking for someone to tell me the opposite, right? I know what there is to do. That's why I said the fear of doing something or not doing something is often the most powerful, because unless it's addressed, we're not going to move forward. Doing this process allows us to see those fears that we may not have wanted to explore before. This fabulous song that we just had, right? I'm exploring. That's what life is. It's an exploration. And oftentimes we stop ourselves from making choices. We stop ourselves from playing, exploring, discovering, because we feel that in the past we made a bad choice. How many are sitting here? I'll tell on myself that at times I would say, looking back, I made bad choices. Okay? They weren't bad choices. If we had known how they were going to turn out, then you'd say, why did you do that? Right? Okay, yeah, 2020, if I had known that was going to happen, I wouldn't have done that. But how often do we get that crystal ball that tells us exactly what's going to happen at the other end? Anybody have one of those? Because if you do, I'll buy it from you. Save me a lot of time. We don't know. We have to be willing to play, explore, discover, and celebrate ourselves. Celebrate ourselves that we had the courage to play, explore, discover, to learn discernment along the way. Deborah, are you willing to play, explore, discover? Because that's all you're doing. We don't need to know what the choice is, but that's what you're doing when you're looking at the questions.
Mm-hmm. That's why I gotta go home and sit on it.
You go home and sit on it. All right. And meditate on it and ask more questions and look at what would happen. If I was going to eliminate the fear, what would it take to eliminate the fear? What would I have to have in order for me to go forward? Or what would have to change in order for me to stay? Right? This is where we start setting boundaries. How often have we been told it's important to have our boundaries? How could we possibly know our boundaries until we know what our fears are? Yeah. Until we know what our fears are, it's very challenging to create boundaries. Is there anybody who would like to, I'm giving you the opportunity, would like to explore with me your questions and see what's there? Maybe you haven't quite identified. There's a big smile right here. No. Okay, no. Don't call on me. All right. Did you do the solution process on? That's what I call it, the solution process. Coming from fear, why would I not talk to Stacey? Coming from love, why would I not talk to Stacey? Coming from fear, why would I talk to Stacey? Coming from love, why would I talk to Stacey? And whatever your answer is. So you can use it for everything. You can use it, yes.
I had a question when you said discernment. What did you mean by that?
What did I mean by discernment?
Right.
Okay. I love that you are in the process of acquiring discernment by asking that question. My experience of gaining wisdom is the ability to discern, to understand, to learn what works for me and what doesn't work for me. Does this make sense? And the only way to do that is by putting myself out there and playing, taking very safe risks. Okay? Now, I will tell you, I've done the solution process many times on jumping out of an airplane. It is always not going to do that. Okay? Because I have not quite yet been able to address the fears, the very reasonable fears about what could happen. But every time I hear about somebody who does jump out of a plane, I get a little more information. It's the process of gaining discernment. Of course, I continue to get a little bit older every time too, and I just so I'm not sure what's going to happen. But I'm saying the solution process is not about always doing something. It's about understanding why we choose not to. And then most times the block is having to tell the other person that we don't want to. Yes? How many of you know what you do and do not want to do, but you simply do not want to tell someone else what that is because you think they're going to get upset with you? Yes? You know what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you a very quick technique in order to say no. Because if we knew how to say no, that would stop people in their tracks. Wouldn't you agree? If we knew how to do that, it would be a lot easier to make choices for ourselves, and we'd stop shooting on ourselves and do what's going to lead us towards our prosperity. Yeah? Yes. The shooting on ourselves, absolutely. All right. I'm going to tell you this did not come from my inspirations. I was smart enough to attract someone, and I'm going to do a shout out to Linda Starr. And I don't think she learned it either from her own inspirations. I think it's been passed along, but it works every single time. Now, I'm not telling you that the other person won't be upset with you. Okay? But this will stop them in their tracks. If someone asks me to do something, and I know it is not in my best interests to do it, this is what I say. Thank you for asking. That does not work for me. Everybody repeat after me. Thank you for asking. That does not work for me. And I appreciate those people who chose not to do it with me because it did not work for you. And for the rest of you, I hope you weren't shitting on yourself and that you were simply doing what you wanted to explore for yourself. Can you imagine saying that to someone? What could they possibly say back? What could they possibly say back?
Why not?
Exactly. You know what you say to that? Thank you for asking. That does not work for me. Nobody deserves or requires a reason as to why we choose to do or not do something. I invite you to consider that. No one deserves or requires, yes, a mother and child. Okay, let me be more specific. An adult, okay, a child may choose not to give their mother an answer. Maybe they know or maybe they don't know. And if that child requires the mother's support, I can see why the mother would want to know what the reason is. I'm not saying that giving people reasons may not assist them to be able to assist us. That's not what I'm sharing about. But if you give me more specifics, I can address that before I go on with the other.
I just think in a relationship between a mother and a child that would not be an answer, the only answer you would give, the ultimate answer.
The ultimatum answer. Okay. The question is, in a mother-child relationship, for you, and your name is again? Carol. For Carol, she would not want to give that answer. And Carol, this is all about play, explore, discover. Now, I'm talking about in situations where you don't want to give an answer. All right? Where it really doesn't matter to the other person what your reasons are. But we often find ourselves in that place of shoulding. I should give them a reason because maybe they'll understand. Have you ever been there? Maybe they'll understand, so I'll explain it to them, and then they still don't understand, right? They just use that information often to find a way to get you to do what they want you to do. See, the nods are going. This is the realm that I'm talking about here. Okay? And between you and your child, or between you and your spouse, or between you and your significant other, or your best friends, you can create agreements. But we're talking about those situations that have us choose, even when we've done the solution process. Even when we've done it, we know what's best for us. We will still break the boundary in order to take care of someone else, when we know in our hearts it doesn't feel good, is not really moving us towards our prosperity, but we think it's what we're supposed to do to be good people. That's what I'm talking about. And so, simply drawing that line, that boundary. Thank you for asking. It's very respectful. It tells them, I heard you. I appreciate that you thought to ask. It does not work for me to accept your request. And they really don't require a reason. And that's what I'm saying to you, be prepared, because this is a wonderful way to know who really cares about you and who doesn't. Because they can always come back with, it could really support me if you would consider it because. Now, they can give you reasons that perhaps might change the situation. Or they could say, I understand. I appreciate you letting me ask you. But if they come back to you and continually push you, what does that say about your relationship? Right? And we don't have to go into this is not working for me because da 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 da. It's just not working for me. So I'm curious, whenever I offer this, people get excited at first, and then they start feeling guilty about saying it. There's, yes, feeling guilty. How could you possibly say that? Anybody feeling that way? Just small show of hands. Yes? Okay. I ask you, are you doing anything that is illegal? No. Are you doing anything that's immoral? Anybody? No. Are you doing anything that's unkind? Yes, it's unkind. Why is it unkind? Why do you feel it's unkind? I would love to know, and you don't have to answer.
Because if you're in a relationship at all, and then you are kind of curt with somebody, you're being unkind.
Okay, at no point did I say to be curt with them, but I hear that for you, that's how it's appearing.
It could be interpreted. I appreciate what you're saying, but I choose not to do that. Can be interpreted as being curt.
It can be if that's how someone wants to hear it. That's true. And what you're talking about is in a close relationship.
I'm not, no.
Okay? No, not even in a close relationship.
It could be a close relationship. It could be with anyone. That if someone says, I choose not to do that, the guy, well, you're not getting, no,
Yes, the other person, if they don't choose to meet you as two equals with freedom of choice, the other person could definitely get upset. That's what I had said, and could see it as curt or angry or irritated.
that also makes the assumption that you're two equals. So that if it's in a job situation or other situations.
Okay, let's talk about that. That's great. So we're talking about what would happen in a job situation where you're required to do it. Well,
Not necessarily required. You can have two clerks, two secretaries,
okay,
equals, and one person says, hey, would you do this? No, I choose not to do it.
okay, good, good. So we're talking about now not just even a boss to employee, we're talking two clerks perhaps. All right, I love these questions. Thank you. So let's consider this. Let's say it is a boss to an employee, and the employee is saying, thank you for asking, that does not work for me. I'm not saying there won't be consequences. My point is, if your boss is asking you to do something that you don't want to do, that does not feel right to you, that's the place to put the boundary in, or to at least use the solution process. Coming from fear, why would I choose not to do this? Coming from love, why would I choose not to do this? Coming from fear, why would I? Coming from love, why would I? In that moment, you may say, I'm going to choose to do it, but this is the point at which it's probably time for me to start looking for another job. I've been there and I've done it a few times. Okay, so that's, maybe you don't say it at that point. Yes, question.
I'm in a situation where I work with my ex.
You work with your ex,
Yes.
okay?
We are peers.
Peers.
Yes.
And yet, you're exes.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have an ongoing interaction.
You have an ongoing interaction.
Keep that healthy. Yes.
To maintain health, yes?
Yes. She feels I owe her an explanation
Uh-huh.
at times when she asks me to do things socially.
Okay, hold on one second, so for those at home. So her ex believes that she owes her an explanation, not the ex, but your name is?
Karen.
Karen owes her an explanation when she doesn't want to do something that the ex wants her to do.
Right.
Yes?
Not concerning work.
Not concerning work. So there's no actual agreement outside of the work. Inside of the work, you're equals.
Yes.
Outside, you're two individuals. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Truly, people will get upset. It's the reason you're exes, correct?
Yes.
That's it. It's the reason you're exes. If you choose to give her an answer, that is your choice. Let me be clear. I'm not taking anybody's choices away. Just asking each of us to consider what makes us feel most open, most joyful, most blessed, most ourselves. If you choose because in order to preserve the work relationship, you are going to have to just kind of bite the tongue, right? Then that's your choice. You use the solution process to make that choice. Just like I said, if you're an employee with a boss, maybe you're going to choose to do it now, but you may also choose to start making plans to leave that environment. But I want to go back to this clerk, one clerk to another, one equal to another. If they're both equal, don't they both have the right to say yes or no? Okay? I am not responsible for other people's upsets. I did not cause them. And I say that because you can count on me to always have love in my heart for you. And I will still do what is required to take care of myself first so that I always do have love in my heart. There was a time in my life, as we start to wrap up here, I'm going to tell you on myself. There was a time in my life where I said yes to everybody and everything because I thought that's what we were supposed to do to be good people. I wrecked my health as a result. My first book was one of those immediate successes. There were a lot of people got behind it. My second book is a success, and we did it a little slower this time so I could manage it. But the immediate success of all these people emailing and calling and this to be done and that to be done, and I was in a place of not knowing how to ask people for help because I put it out there, so it was my responsibility to handle it all. So if somebody said, "Can you do this?" it was a yes. I wound up in bed for 2 years and 3 months with a debilitating illness as a result. I expended every ounce of my energy. So now, this past week, in order to be here with all of you, this was really important to me. There were a lot of requests that I received that I said no to, so I could get to bed early, so I could feed myself nutritiously, so I could prepare appropriately. And I had a lot of people who understood that and supported me when I said, I would love to help you. This is not going to work for me at this time. I actually had a request over Facebook. Could you help me promote such and such? And this person who asked, I had actually helped her at one time. I wanted to help her. Also, not my fault that she only gave me a couple of days to do it in. Give me some more time. I can help you more. This is what I wrote back. Thank you for asking. It does not work for me to do this right now, but here's what I will do. I will keep you in my prayers. I will send up prayers for your success, and I see you being successful. And she wrote back and said, thank you. That means the world to me. Because there are often other ways that we can be of support that work for us, that let somebody know that we care about them. We're just not going to do what they've asked of us. Does this help, Karen?
Yes.
Yes? You're welcome. So as we start to wrap up, that's my encouragement to you, is to consider, are you going to do something? Are you not going to do it? If you're going to do it or not do it from fear, be very clear about your fears. Honor those fears. Don't push them aside. Look at them and say, I have a fear about this. How can I address the fear, or do I even choose to address the fear? Then, go forward or don't go forward. If you choose not to go forward and it involves another person, and you're saying, thank you for asking me to do this, it doesn't work for me to do it, be prepared that those who care about you and honor you and would want you to do the same for them will understand. And those who are not there to have your best interest in heart will show themselves to you in that way. And then you can choose what to do from there. So this has been a joy for me to share the solution process with you and with all of you. And as Charlie said, my intent was that there might be some changing going on. Does anybody feel like maybe you're looking at the world a little bit differently right now? Yes? Yes? Wonderful. Thank you so much. We're going to end with a meditation. So I'm going to invite everybody to put your feet flat on the floor. Uncross your arms and legs. Thank you, Charlie, for the lights. We do a little background music? That would be lovely, little background music. And this meditation, of course, taps us into God, that divine spirit, but it's also a way to tap into ourselves. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and I'll close mine. And we're going to talk to our 4 bodies. We're going to start with our physical body, the body of our hair and our bones and our skin and our organs. We're going to say, hi, physical body. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being fully energized and 1 being completely exhausted, what score do you give to yourself? And by now your physical body gave you a score, gave you a number. And then ask your physical body what it would like you to give to it to come up to a 10. Now you can choose whether you're going to accept the request of your physical body or not. And when you will accept it, if you're going to accept it. And then thank your physical body for speaking with you. And let's go to our emotional body, the body of feelings. And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10, our feelings are happy and positive and joyful and hopeful and optimistic. And 1 is the complete opposite of that. Ask your emotional body, what is the score it is giving to itself? Whatever that number is, accept it. It's the truth. Now ask your emotional body what it would like you to do for it so it could come back to a 10. Decide if you will or you will not do it. Determine if you are going to do it, when you're going to do it. And then thank your emotional body for speaking with you. Let's go to the mental body, the mind. And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the mind is fully focused, concentrating, laser focused. That's at 10. And 1 is thoughts are scattered, forgetful. Ask your mental body what score it's giving to itself right now. Whatever that score is, ask your mental body what it would like you to do for it so it can come up to a 10. Choose if you will do it or you choose not to do it. That is completely your choice. If you're going to do it, choose when you're going to do it. And thank your mental body for speaking with you. And now let's go into our spirit body, the body that is always connected to God, whether we're aware of it or not. And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being we fully feel that connection, and 1 is we feel very far away and disconnected, ask your spirit body what is the score it gives to itself today. And then ask your spirit body, what would it like for you to do for it so it can stay at a 10? And then decide, will you do it or will you choose not to do it? And decide if you are going to do it, when you're going to do it. And then thank your spirit body for talking with you. And then let's enjoy the unification of our 4 bodies, acknowledging we are spirit having a human experience. In this space, offer whatever gratitudes you'd like to offer up. And then any appreciations and acknowledgments of yourself. This is between you and God. What did you accomplish this week that you can celebrate yourself for? Allow yourself to not think about what still has to be done. Only focus now on what you have accomplished so that you can start the new week with a spirit of enthusiasm, optimism, confidence, power, and energy. Thank you. Amen.